All right, should be live. Happy Sunday, everybody. It's football day once again. Let me double check something real quick before we get into it. So if you don't know, the 9:30 game is about to start here. It's the Giants and the Packers in London. So make sure you have your lineup set there. I don't think there's any lingering injury reports that we need to be aware of. Here, hold on. Hold up. Okay, we're good. So I don't think that there are any injury reports that we need to be aware of, but on the Packers side of the ball, we are definitely starting Romeo Dobbs. We are starting Alan Lazard. We are starting Aaron Jones. I'm honestly a little bit hesitant about AJ Dillon now. I know he's getting almost equal touches to Aaron Jones, but I just don't feel good about his opportunities. I feel like he's almost like a tight end where he has to get into the end zone to be fantasy relevant. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be shying away from until I'm proven wrong. Now, I will say he's going to have a blow up game where he'll probably be sitting on my bench, but I don't want to ride out all the 8 and 10 point games until he gets there. So I'll probably be playing Gabe Davis over AJ Dillon just for a frame of reference. But it's looking like Lazard's good to go as well. So you can jam him in your lineup for this week in London. And then on the Giants side of the ball, you really don't want to start anybody other than Barkley. There's no one that is super relevant. I don't even think Daniel Jones is back. Let me double check that real quick. But I think we're going to be without Daniel Jones. But give me one sec. Daniel Jones. Okay, he has no injury designation, so we actually do have Daniel Jones, which is nice. So maybe if you need to stream him, you could, but against the Green Bay Packer defense, I would really shy away from it. And honestly, I think that the Green Bay defense is a good defense to stream if you're in need. But these London games are always really weird, so we don't know. There might be some weird stuff that happens. I think the Packers take this one easy, but shy away from any passing game in New York if you can. Today I was thinking about getting into one of these. I've never done one, but it looks fun. It's draft style, so we're just going to give it a shot and see what happens. I don't know how long it's going to take to fill or the format. So it looks like there's 6 people. This is weird. We got the matchups on there. All right, so we're in, I guess. Here, let me see. I know it's full. It's a full 12. Okay, cool. It's full 12 people. So if you guys aren't aware of what we're doing here, this is actually a draft, just like we were drafting in the offseason, but it's just for week 5. Just for week 5. $50,000 a first, $56,000 entrance, $5 entry fee. We have our. So it's just the main slate. So it's the 1 o'clock and 4:30 games. And then it's looking like half PPR, just like the rest of Underdog Fantasy. We have 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back, and 1 flex. Okay. That's good to know going into this. So it's a lot smaller of a draft than what we're used to. Wait, how do I... No. This is not 12 people. This is 6 people. So he goes Josh Allen right away. We'll do Cooper Kupp. But as we're going through this, we're going to check on the news because there's a lot of important injuries pending that we are going to have to keep our eye on. And unfortunately, we're not going to have those answers until after the stream is over. So you guys are going to have to keep your eyes on people like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think Keenan Allen has an official designation yet either. Let me double check on that one. Keenan Allen's officially out. Keenan Allen's officially out. So Mike Williams is jammed in your lineup. He's jammed in my lineup for sure. But at least we do know that Gerald Everett is going to be playing, so that's a really good tight end option for you. I don't think I'll be playing Joshua Palmer, even if he is active. So take that as you wish. But at least we do know that Keenan Allen's not there. Now I'm trying to remember some of these other guys that we're waiting on designations for. We have people like Jalen Waddle with injury designation. This is questionable, was expected to play. So Jalen Waddle's expected to play. We have Tyreek Hill even with an injury designation. Also expected to play. T. Higgins. List is questionable. Also expected to play. We have people like Alvin Kamara and David Montgomery. It's a little bit more unsure. So just check your lineups. I think the injury designations come out around 10:30 or 11. So just check your lineups at noon and make sure that no one has gotten downgraded from questionable to out, especially with this live stream not being able to go right up until kickoff. So something to keep your eye on. But what I think I'm going to do here, if I have the chance, is Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert stack. I think that's what the play is going to be for me. Looking like CeeDee Lamb is probable, expected to play. I kind of was hoping that he wasn't going to play just so I could play Michael Gallup. But it's looking like he's good to go, so we're good there. Deebo Samuel goes, so we're just going to go and grab Austin Eckler and then throw Justin Herbert here on the queue. I don't know why I say we're having 0 seconds on the draft, but we should be good. And then after this, we're going to get into the player props and make a little parlay, see if we can't win some money. We had a decent win on Thursday night, so let me pull it up so we can actually see what's going on with that. Live, pick 'em. Oh, wait, no. Results, pick 'em. Thursday night. So we had 3 receptions for Alec Pierce. He's at 8, so this is going to be a waiver wire ad for this week if you guys don't have him already. You're definitely going to want to go through and grab Alec Pierce off your waiver wire. It's looking like he potentially could overtake Michael Pittman Jr. as the number 1 receiver in Indianapolis. If you guys watch this game, I'm so sorry. That was a waste of all of our time. I will try to watch the Broncos as little as possible for the rest of the year. That was just a horrible game to watch. And it's looking like we have a banger of a game next Thursday as well with the Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears. I don't know if they're intentionally making horrible games on Thursday this year or what, but it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing what they're doing. Now, I'm interested in grabbing Mike Williams to get in a double stack with Justin Herbert. I think that Justin Herbert balls out today, and I think that the Browns are good enough to keep up with the Chargers. So I was kind of thinking about doing maybe a TJ Hawkinson, Mike Williams thing. James Robinson goes. I was actually kind of looking at him as well. We only have 1 running back that needs to start, I believe. Yes, we only need to start 1 running back, and we could just do the rest wide receivers. So maybe we go Christian Kirk. Actually, we're going to do TJ Hawkinson, I think, in the assumption that should we do the double stack? Discount double stack? Let's do the discount double stack. And then I kind of like Chris Olave right here as well. Because Michael Thomas is going to be out. Let's see if we can pull it up here on the news feed. Oh, wait, I didn't end going over that. 74 receiving yards, and the line was at 67.5, and then we had 13 receiving yards for Melvin Gordon, which he accomplished on the first play of the game, which was nice to see. But anyways, we are coming up on our next wide receiver. See, maybe we don't go wide receiver right here. Do we go TJ Hawkinson anyways? Or do we go Christian Kirk? I'm going to go ahead and make the assumption that Amon-Ra St. Brown is not going to play. Let me do this just in case. St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Is he as probable? Expected to play. Okay, we'll do Chris Olave then. We'll do Chris Olave because as we were saying, Michael Thomas is going to miss this game. So, and I think Let me see if Jameis Winston is going to be back. Because if Winston is back and Michael Thomas isn't playing, then Olave is an absolute smash play. So let me go ahead here and look on the news to see if Jameis Winston's playing. It's looking like he's doubtful, actually, but will be listed as doubtful for Sunday's game against Seattle while Andy Dalton will start. Yeah, okay. So it is looking like it's going to be Andy Dalton, which I'm okay with anyways because, again, we do know that Thomas is going to be out. Now, I also saw that Jarvis Landry looks like he should be back. Alvin Kamara should be back. So there is going to be more weapons available to Andy Dalton this week, which I honestly don't think is a bad thing for Chris Olave. So I think these guys have a really high ceiling, and we're just going to roll with them. So let's double check here to see what positions we have filled. We have our quarterback filled. We have our wide receiver and flex filled. We have our running back filled. So we do need a tight end here. I don't know how many rounds this is, actually. Oh, this is the last round. Okay, that makes sense. Do we double down with George Kittle is the question. And I say double down because I just traded for him in my other league because I'm a Kyle Pitts owner. So we're going to just double down, triple down with George Kittle and hope he has that spike week. George Kittle's one of those players that he's either going to play left tackle and get 5 points, or he's going to have a random game where he gets 35 points. So we want to be there for the 35-point game. But yeah, as I was saying, in that other league, I have George Kittle and Kyle Pitts now. I'm hoping I bought them low, but in order to confirm that I bought them low, we're going to need them to do something here soon. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But that was a pretty quick draft. So let's just hop right over to the player props. I don't really want to get involved with this London game just because the London games usually some weird stuff happens. So I'd rather just not get involved with the London games if we don't have to. So we'll go through and just pass up. Richie James is a player where if you are a Michael Thomas and who else is injured? If you're a Michael Thomas and Keenan Allen owner and you're desperate for a wide receiver, you could try Richie James out just because he's basically the only receiving option left in New York. And I think Daniel Bellinger is a fine play too. But stay away if you can. Please stay away if you can. So as I said, we're just going to pass right through here and go to the 1 o'clock slate. And I already know a prop that I want to just start this off with, and that's going to be, let me find him. That's going to be Breece Hall. If you don't have Breece Hall and you can convince the owner to let him go, try to trade for him right now. He's one game away from a massive breakout week, and once that happens, he's going to be locked into whoever's lineup has him. So if you can trade for him, maybe in the next 5 hours, try to do that, but he's going to have a breakout week here any day, so I would try to scoop him if you can. But this is the line where we're smashing every time. 2.5 receptions for Breece Hall. He's been getting double-digit targets. He's been targeted more at the running back position than anyone else in the entire NFL other than Austin Eckler. So if you're going to be up with company like that in the receiving game as a running back, we're going to have to throw the higher on at 2.5 receptions and throw him into our redraft lineups. And, we'll have that really solid floor with a player that's going to be rushing the ball a majority of the times for this New York Jet offense, which I actually think is a pretty decent offense. And then he's going to get hyper-targeted out of the backfield in relation to other running backs. So a higher for 2.5 receptions is an easy play for me. Let me pull Streamlabs up. Oh, we do have people in the chat. What's going on, everybody? Need to start Dobbs, Gibson, Jared Everett, Chase Edmonds, or Pacheco. What's your thoughts? Half PPR. Dobbs. Dobbs for sure. I would easily start Dobbs, and honestly, Gerald Everett would be my number 2. Chase Edmonds scares me because he doesn't get enough touches. He just so happens to fall into the end zone a couple times in the past few weeks. Gibson, I'm shying away from anywhere I can, so I would go Dubs here, Chris. Morning, Deacon. Would you start Rodgers or Goff, and would you start D. Smith and D. Johnson. Ooh. That's unfortunately a real question that needs to be asked. If you have Jalen Hurts, then you could start Devontae Smith, but I think I'm still on Deontay Johnson if you don't. This is going to be a game script that really favors the Pittsburgh offense. They're going to need to be passed the entire game. And Deontay Johnson is still that wide receiver 1, even though I am very high on George Pickens. But for right now, I'll stick with Deontay Johnson. And Goff is going up against New England. Rodgers against Giants. I think you have to start Goff. I think you have to start Goff unless you have a stack. So if you have like Dobbs, then you could do Aaron Rodgers. But if you don't have a stack, I would go with Goff. Chris says he has pick'ems all for over fantasy points. Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Nick Chubb, Ramondre Stevenson. I like Ramondre Stevenson this week a lot. So I'm going to check the line on that. What's Aaron Jones at right now? Over on 14.5. I don't mind that at all. Although he pretty much has to fall into the end zone to achieve 14.5 on half PPR. Aaron Rodgers at 16.95. I don't hate that. What's Goff at? Goff is at, he doesn't have a fancy point designation. He's at 239.5 passing yards. And then we have Aaron Rodgers at 234. So yeah, they're right neck and neck. But the Detroit Lions have been putting up the most points on offense in the entire league. So if Goff is going to be leading that behind the best offensive line in the league, then we're going to have a piece of that. And I really do think that Green Bay, there's a big game on the horizon for Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, more so than Aaron Rodgers. Corey Davis or Garrett Wilson? I'm starting Corey Davis, but everyone's saying Garrett Wilson. Yeah, that's tricky because Garrett Wilson is the right answer. Garrett Wilson is definitely the right answer here. But we can't ignore what Corey Davis has been doing. Now, what we can do is go down. We have 40.5 receiving yards as a designation for Corey Davis in this game from Vegas. And then Wilson is going to be 48.5. So, I mean, this is relevant because these are guys that are going through and doing this. This is how they make their money in Vegas. So, the line is set a little bit higher for Garrett Wilson. I think your ceiling is a little bit higher. And it might be a situation where you need to know your team and you need to know what you're going for here. And I say that in the sense of I think Corey Davis is going to be a higher floor. So if you need a safe play and a safe 10 points, I think Corey Davis is probably the safer option just because I think that Zach Wilson does like to target Corey Davis as a safety blanket option. But Garrett Wilson is going to be that higher ceiling. So just take inventory on your team and see if you need a spike week out of that position or if you need a baseline 10 points. And then make that decision based off of the rest of your team. I think that's the play. Because I agree, Chris. Wilson does like going Davis. How many targets did he have last week? I'll pull this right here so we can all see. Davis. So first week back, he had 6 targets. Now we have his fantasy day looked a lot better than it would have without this touchdown. We would be looking more like a 10-point game. So let's not get too excited. I mean, 6 targets isn't great. That's pretty average. We saw him have 10 targets in week 1, but that was with Joe Flacco. So, Corey Davis is 6 to Garrett Wilson's 6. So, I mean, it might be Garrett Wilson. It really might be Garrett Wilson, and I say that when I'm looking at this because they both had 6 targets in Zach Wilson's first game back. But unfortunately for Garrett Wilson, only 2 of them were actually catchable, or he only capitalized on 2 of those 6 targets, whereas Corey Davis capitalized on 5 and fell into the end zone. But the opportunities were exactly the same. So you might want to chase the ceiling with Garrett Wilson here. I might be on everyone else's side. All right, let me check this out. George Pickens at 3 receptions. I kind of like that. especially in a tough matchup where they will be passing the entire game. We have Njoku at 3.5. Nick Chubb at 100 rushing and receiving yards against one of the worst rush defenses in the entire league in the Los Angeles Chargers. That's kind of enticing. I don't want to get involved with the receiving yards, but 92.5 rushing yards looks like it could definitely happen. The only issue here is Kareem Hunt and that the line is so high, so I might look for a different line. Chubb at 13 points seems like a spat. No, I know. I'm hesitant because I feel like Nick Chubb he's been doing so good and the matchup is so juicy that I kind of feel like it's going to be a Kareem Hunt game. I feel like Nick Chubb has been going crazy and I'm kind of scared to chase those points. So I'm going to keep looking and see what we have somewhere, elsewhere. Rushing touchdowns, reception. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Austin Eckler and Breece Hall are the 1 and 2 most targeted running backs out of the backfield. And Austin Eckler's line is at 5. So he would have to get 6 receptions if you're doing the over. And Breece Hall's is at 2.5. So he would need 3 receptions. So that's why this player prop is an easy dub for me. I'm picking that every single time. Hunt might be washed. Nah. He might be washed from what he used to be, but as a backup running back that gets opportunities in the red zone and had a really strong week 1, I don't think he's washed. I think he still is good enough to get into the end zone and vulture a couple touchdowns from Nick Chubb. I really do like this 3 reception on George Pickens. I feel like 42.5 yards is probably better than 3 receptions, though. We're going to go ahead and hit higher on that. Goff or T-Law? T-Law is playing Houston. Goff is playing New England. New England makes me a little bit nervous. Let me go to this real quick. Fantasy points against. This is a really good website if you guys haven't seen it before. This one. Lineups.com. They have fantasy points allowed to specific positions. So let's see what New England's doing against quarterbacks. So it's actually looking like New England's not too bad against quarterbacks. It's actually one of the better matchups, allowing 21.2 fantasy points per game to that position. And then Houston is allowing actually way less. And I think this is because of the game script. I think this is because the way games usually go against the Texans. The team and the Jaguars are actually good this year, so I think it's possible that they go up fast, which is why you didn't see me draft Christian Kirk, because I think that I think James Robinson and Travis Etienne get a lot of work this game, but maybe not Trevor Lawrence in the passing game as much as other games and as much as you would expect, just because the matchup is so bad. Well, I guess it's, Texans are such a bad team that I think the Jags go up fast and then run out the clock. So I think I'm going Goff here as well. Especially when we see these matchups that New England is in the bottom 10 against fantasy quarterbacks, and then Houston Texans look like they're just shy of the top 10. So we'll go with Goff there as well. $42.5 receiving yards for George Pickens. We'll keep that as a soft entry. Now, I don't know if anyone here is experienced with pick'ems, but I keep going back and forth between if I want to do if I want to do 3. So let's just say 3 options and do like a higher entry amount with insurance, which means if you get 2 of your 3 right, you get your money back, and then if you get the 3rd right, you get the full payout. Or if it's better to just do like a $5 entry with like all 5 legs. I'm kind of been leaning more towards 3 legs with insurance and then just doing a higher entry amount. I feel like that's a smarter, safer way to guarantee your money back if you can find some lines. Like if you find 2 lines that you're comfortable with, I feel like that's the play. Especially if you're doing it for like a Monday night or like a 1 game specific player prop. I would never do more than 3 legs on something like that. So if you're doing these pick'ems for a Thursday night game, Sunday night game, or Monday night game, don't do more than 3 options. There's too many ways for it to not go right. Like I said, the people that set these lines, they they make their money off of this in Vegas. These are the lines that everyone is betting on, so they place these very carefully. So even though we feel comfortable, we feel very comfortable about a lot of these lines. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that's because these lines are set with a purpose. So if you start getting into 5 legs on a 1-game parlay, your chances of winning are very low. Do $50 for 1K 5 picks parlay. I like it. That is money. So you're saying you do 50? Is that really what the payout is? No insurance. $1,000. Chris, I like it. If you ever win one, you have got to come in the next week or drop in the comments that you won, and we'll all celebrate with you. We have to celebrate with you if you ever win that. So I love the play there. Because you're right, that's way more exciting, and that's okay. So that's what I've actually been doing is I'll pick, I'll do a 3-leg parlay with insurance, put in $50, get $150 payout on the line, and then I'll probably do one smaller entry, like a $5 entry, 5-leg, and shoot for the fences on that one. So I kind of I've been putting them together, but pick'ems is new to me this year, so I've been trying to figure out the strategy here. Let's dive into the news a little bit just to make sure we don't have anything that we need to be talking about. Dak Prescott needs to make significant strides to return to week 6. So I don't think they're going to rush Dak Prescott back sooner than they have to since Cooper Rush has been balling out. So we'll keep an eye on that. I think this is more important for the production of Michael Gallup. I think that Dak Prescott starts giving you better fantasy results for Michael Gallup and Dalton Schultz. For CeeDee Lamb, it's not affected him at all, and it actually might be affecting him in the positive way because he's been balling out, and the Cowboys have been doing fine. So we'll keep an eye on Dak Prescott in the terms of Michael Gallup and Dalton Schultz, but as far as CeeDee Lamb goes, that's not really a concern of ours. 2 weeks ago, I got 4 out of 5, had Carr for under 36 pass attempts. He went over against Titans. How many did he go over by? Oh, man, I'll be sick. Especially if it's only a couple passing attempts. Is that the game that Josh Jacobs went off, or is that a different game? Julio Jones, game time decision. Logan Thomas, game time decision. This is why I had to trade for George Kittle in that league, because I was going to pick up Logan Thomas, then he felt questionable as well, and then it was either Jawan Johnson or George Kittle, and I had to trade Ramondre Stevenson for George Kittle. I didn't want to at all, but it was the right play for my team, and I'm in a must-win situation in that league. Quite a bit, 40-plus attempts. Jesus Christ. Damn, that sucks. Have you ever won one? One of the $50 entry, $1,000 payouts? I don't think I've ever won a 4-leg. I think I've won 4 out of 5 legs with insurance, so I have won a 5-leg, but I've never won it without insurance before. I'm on Ross St. Brown, expected to play. So this affects Josh Reynolds and TJ Hawkinson. Did we end up drafting TJ Hawkinson, actually? No, we drafted George Kittle. Okay, cool. Brian Robinson expected to play. That's awesome. Shout out to Brian Robinson for coming back from his gunshot wound already. I don't know what it feels like to get shot, but gotta hurt. So I think he only ended up missing like a month, which is very impressive. Should I start Lazard, Reynolds, Deontay, McKenzie, Gallup? You need 2. I say Gabe Davis is healthy. McKenzie will get some work, but let me see if I can actually find the designation here just to get a little bit of extra context. We do have Amon-Ra Brown playing, or at least expected to play, so that'll hurt Josh Reynolds' opportunities. Josh Reynolds expected to play. So Josh Reynolds I'm really not interested in since Amon-Ra St. Brown is playing. Let me just see if I can... Actually, no. Hold on. Because I do think McKenzie is going to end up playing. McKenzie. Questionable. But even though... even if he does play, just the fact that he's had this injury leading up to the week, and they do have Shakir, I think I'm going Deontay Johnson and Lazard here. Because CeeDee Lamb's going to play, Gabe Davis is going to play, Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to play. So I think Lazard and Deontay Johnson have the most targets out of these options. And we're going to want to be shooting for the volume here. So go Lazard and Deontay. Lazard and Deontay is my move there. So it's looking like Zay Jones is back as well. Yes, sir. Chris says I played a few last year and quit. Really, I wasn't good. Going for it again this year. Every game until I win one in 20 is break even. Hopefully, I'm better than that. Yeah, I don't play, like, I play fantasy because, well, obviously because it's fun first and foremost, but I feel like I'm pretty decent at fantasy, and I keep up with the news, and I like to think that I'm pretty good at fantasy and drafting and working trades and working the waiver wire. Player props and betting has never really been my thing either. It's more of just a straight up fun thing for me, and usually I'm watching the game with some friends, and it's fun to have the same player props going into the game just so we can get excited about something. But yeah, I know way more about fantasy than I do these pick'ems. These pick'ems are kind of just like a extracurricular fun thing for me. But I will say, Kevin, if you're still in here, a good way to make those decisions is to go into these pick'ems, even if you're not betting. These lines, if you need to be swayed one way or the other, go with whoever's line is set higher in receptions and receiving yards, especially if you're in a full PPR. Just because the guys setting these lines know way more than any of us do. So your probability, if you have someone at a line of 34.5 in Isaiah McKenzie, and then you go over to Lazard, and his is at 47.5, so that's not even that different either. So you can kind of try to weigh with that extra information as well. I would hope they know something. It's crazy how close the lines end up falling, or how close the actual results end up falling to the line. Like if we go into the one that I won, 74 yards, and the line was 67.5. This was basically one play, so that's why you see this blown out of the water. And this was hard to guess because he's on the come up, and everyone thinks that Pittman's going to be the guy, and thought that up until now, but we'll use this opportunity one more time to say smash Alec Pierce on the waiver wire if you can. I think he's worth a decent amount of fab if you have a league that's set up with fab. I think it's very possible that Alec Pierce continues to develop into a better option than Michael Pittman, or at least an equal option. Because 8 targets and I think like 16 fantasy points is something we definitely can't ignore. And that's not the first week he's done it. He's done it. Here, we'll just pull it up just so we're not guessing. But he's been producing on a weekly basis at this point. So an easy waiver wire stash or grab if you can grab him. Yeah, so we have week 3, 9 points on 5 targets and 3 receptions. Week 4, 12 points, 6 targets on 4 receptions. This week on Thursday, we had 16.1 points on 9 targets and 8 receptions. So this is a guy that is getting a very healthy amount of targets, especially against a good defense on Thursday against the Denver Broncos. So, grab Alec Pierce for sure. Chris says ETR established the run, has good advice for pick'em lines to bet. Okay, good to know. Also have a CMC. Also have CNC, and I have 2 people trying to trade with me. First trade, St. Brown and Taylor. Second trade, Chase and Dalvin. Wait, they're trying to give you Chase and Dalvin for CMC? And they're trying to give you St. Brown and Taylor for CMC? Is that can you verify that, Kevin? Are you saying that someone's offering you St. Brown and Taylor for CMC and Chase and Dalvin for CMC? And you said, yeah, I would take either one immediately. CMC is not the CMC that we remember, but the name is going to sell. So I would, if you're doing a straight up trade, CMC for either of those 2 players, we are smashing that. If you're going to ask me which one I would prefer, if you're going to ask me what I would prefer, I'd probably do Chase and Dalvin. But I mean, that's a pretty much a toss up. And let me show you this real quick. And definitely don't blindly use these analyzers and have them make decisions for you. But My point is that these guys are pretty close usually, and I'll show you how lopsided it's going to be. And these are up to date, by the way. Not even close. Look at this. Not even close. Look, yes, but you must be kidding. And if you go to other trade analyzers, it's going to say the same shit. So, first trade, the guy is 1-3, and he's struggling. Second guy hates the way Chase is playing. So, if you can capitalize on someone hating Chase, because I've been trying to capitalize on that as well. I tried to sell. Who did I try to sell? I tried to sell, like, James Robinson and Mike Williams for Jamar Chase. Didn't go through. But you're going to have people panicking on Chase. And if you can capitalize on that, Chase is an elite talent. He is up there with Jefferson, Diggs, Devontae, and Cooper Kupp. So if you're going to be able to get him on your team, do it. And I mean, don't renegotiate Monday or Tuesday. If he is willing to do CMC for Chase and Cook right now, do it right now. Don't let him realize that he's fucking up. And I think that the game against the Ravens, I mean, the last 2 times the Bengals have played the Ravens, they've scored 41 points each game. So I think Chase has that game where it's, once he drops 35 points, that guy's not going to he's not going to be disappointed in the way he's playing anymore. So if you can make that trade today before the game, please make that trade. Picked up Kyle Phillips in one league. I think he's going to start showing, putting him in my DK lineup today. I like that because we do. If you guys don't know, Traylon Burks is on the injured reserve. Robert Woods is washed. And Kyle Phillips had a pretty decent start to the season, so I like that a lot. How cheap is Kyle Phillips in DFS? He's got to be pretty cheap. Got to be pretty cheap. First trade, the guy is okay, we read that. He's willing to give Chase for Bills defense and is killing me because I don't have them. Oh my God. This guy's got to be pretty new to fantasy football. Jamar Chase for a defense. I don't care how good the defense is. That's crazy. All right, so I wasn't going to do a DFS lineup, but oh wait, no, we got to finish this real quick. We're talking about DFS. It's making me want to set a lineup up real quick. 3,600, 3,900, something in that range. Jesus Christ. That's crazy. 14 rush yards, half an interception. I honestly want to stay away from this Browns game. I want to stay away from this. I like this a lot. I like Devin Singletary yards on this game. Oh, receptions at 2.5. What did he have last week? Hold on. We got to see what he had last week because that might be an absolute smash. But I actually might do the yards anyways because the Bills are going to go up quick against this rookie-led Pittsburgh Steelers without TJ Watt. Last week, receptions 4, the week before it 9 for Devin Singletary. But I do like the yards better, so I'm going to do yardage for Devin Singletary here. And this is receiving and rushing, so he can get it either way he wants. Yeah, I like this Devin Singletary prop right here. I want nothing to do with the Chicago Browns. I mean, with the Chicago Bears offense. Nothing at all. Skip. What's going on, bro? How you doing? We got football coming up here soon. 50 minutes, baby. Brian Robinson will be limited to 20 snaps in week 4 after being activated. So it looks like you can still... This is probably the last week you can play Gibson. I don't think Gibson is a smash play at all because there is going to be touches taken away from Gibson with J.D. McKissic and Brian Robinson now. So it's not like an absolute smash play, but he is still serviceable. So you could play him here, hope he has 15 points, and then try to sell him high. Who's been killing props for me? Saw something that said they were one of the worst red zone offenses. Who are you talking about? Let me know who you're talking about, Kevin. If you guys are new to the channel, go down and like the video. If you do like the video, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can come through when we're live every single Sunday. We're going to be doing 8 o'clocks for this week, obviously, and then next week while the London games are going on. But then we're normally going to be doing these live streams at 11 or 11:30 moving forward when there is no London game. And then on the weeks, we do a running back ranking video on Tuesday and a wide receiver ranking video on Wednesday or Thursday. So, go ahead and subscribe. I've been really appreciating the support, and just you guys coming out here this morning is pretty awesome. So appreciate you guys. Pick one to start: Amari Cooper or Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs for me. I can here. Let me show you. I'll show you that I am not talking shit. I think Romeo Doubs is a smash play. I mean, he almost had 20 plus points last week, and he dropped that touchdown. I don't think that drop affects the rapport with Aaron Rodgers at all. And Aaron Rodgers, actually, if you saw him, he talked very highly of Romeo Doubs after that game. Oh my God, that was so loud. Shout out to Kevin for the subscription. Jesus Christ. It scared the shit out of me. Shout out to Kevin, though. Oh my God, okay. What was I doing? Here we go. We have Romeo Doubs in our lineup over Allen Lazard, over George Pickens, over Michael Gallup, over A.J. Dillon. I'm a big Romeo Doubs guy. And if you look, he had 13.7 fantasy points per game last week, 21.3 the week before that. And these are the only two games he's played with the snap volume that he had. Shout out to Eric. Appreciate it. But yeah, he had 8 targets in both games, 5 receptions, a touchdown, and he almost had 2 touchdowns last game. So we're playing Romeo Doubs for sure. For sure. I forgot I was going to switch over here, though. DK lineup pricing is fun this week. You can go any direction you want. Oh, I might have to take a look. Because there's a few props that I want involved with, including Devin Duvernay. Rashad Bateman is not going to be playing for the Ravens. It's going to be a shootout. Devin Duvernay is going to be the wide receiver 1, and I'm sure you can get it for super cheap. So Devin Duvernay is going to be a smash play for me. Me too, enough said. Hey, I appreciate you, Legendary, as well. Pick one, Aaron Rodgers or Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray. Don't even think about it. Yeah, where is your sound, bro? Why did it not come through? I have Eric Schaefer and I have Kevin came through, not Legendary one. Do. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out this Streamlab. I use Streamlabs to do to stream with, and we just switched over from OBS. But all these alerts, like, they're so finicky. Sometimes they'll show up, and then sometimes they just, like sometimes I'll have every single one will show up, and then sometimes, like, nothing comes up. So, I don't really know. But everyone watching, just so you know, Legendary 1 is subscribed. I'll make the vocal announcement. Just, honestly, don't hate Dalvin Cook in the Minnesota Vikings-Chicago game at all. Just because I think the game script allows for him to have a good game. Half an interception for Jared Goff. It's not too bad. 2 receptions for Jamal Williams. What did Jamal Williams have last week? That might actually be a good one. Let's see. Maybe it's delayed, Legendary. Nah, he had no receptions last week. Even in a good matchup. Oh, shit. All right, so we're avoiding that. 10 receiving yards, 16.5 rushing attempts. 16.5 rushing attempts might not be too bad. 65 rushing yards. Although I don't think I'm going to chase that. No worries, just means I'm special. Thanks for being up early to talk NFL. Absolutely, bro. And you are special. Yeah, last week it was 9:30 and I was like, God, I missed it. I forgot it. I totally forgot that the London game was a thing. So it was 9:30 and I was gonna stream at the normal time, but if I were you guys and there was a football game on, I'd be watching the game over me. So we ended up not streaming, but we made sure we were up this week and we're gonna make sure we're up next week as well. So this is a full-blown addiction for me, so I'll be here. And you know what I want to actually get a piece of right here is going to be this Ramondre Stevenson player prop. I don't care if it's rushing attempts. I don't care if it's yards. Do we want to... Okay, so here, I'll let you guys pick this one. Do we want to do over 11.5 rushing attempts, or do we want to do... I like rushing attempts, I like receiving yards, and I like rushing yards. Which one do we want? Do we want the attempts? Do we want the receiving yards or receptions, or do we want the rushing yards? Because I'm picking an over for Ramondre Stevenson this week. Detroit Lions are the second worst run defense in the entire league. Everyone eats when they run against him. Ramondre Stevenson is the preliminary back in New England now. We have a backup quarterback, so they're going to run a lot more, even more than they already would have against this horrible defense. So we're picking some for Ramondre Stevenson. I traded Swift right before he went down for Sutton and Patterson. Rushing yards. Eric's the first one to come through with rushing yards, so we're going to do rushing yards. I like the attempts. We got attempts and rush yards. So I was going to say we could even get involved with this Damian Harris and just do both, but we'll do rushing yards since Eric was the first one to come through. Sutton and Patterson. Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't really love that trade, unfortunately. I think that Sutton is a great receiver, and maybe you needed that wide receiver on your team more than you needed Swift. But I think Swift is going to be a league winner after this. Even if Cordero Patterson doesn't go in onto IR, I still think that Swift is, once he's done his bye in week 6, he's going to be a smash play as long as he can stay healthy. But Kevin, even though that one didn't work out, you still can go and trade CMC for Dalvin Cook and Jamar Chase. So I think the net gain here is in your favor. If you can make that trade happen, your net is looking good. Okay, half an interception for Marcus Mariota. How do we feel about that? I feel like that's got to be a smash, right? Got to be a smash. I think Tom Brady at 37.5 passing attempts is not too bad. I actually might take this one out. What did he have last week? Bucks. I guess this was a shootout, so this might be skewed, but he had 39. Oh, he had 52 attempts. Yeah, I kind of like the over on this as well. Maybe we do over on Tom Brady passing attempts. Because I think that even if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go up on Atlanta, I still think that they just pile on the points and pass the entire game. So I'm not worried about the game script here. Andy Dalton. I would like the interception typically, but Seahawks are a horrible defense, so I'm not going to get involved with that. I do think Alvin Kamara has a chance here to eat against Seattle, one of the worst. Here, we'll show you how bad they are against the running backs. Again, if you guys are doing some analysis, use this website. This website is so money. It gives you really good information. But if you look down here, Seattle Seahawks, Chargers, Lions, and Texans. So if you're in the world of doing DFS, Smash. Actually, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Smash the over on... Where is it? We're smashing the over on James Robinson. I don't care what it is. James Robinson. 1.5 receptions, receiving yards, rushing attempts. Rushing attempts, 8. Rushing or receiving touchdown. Ooh, what do we want to do here? I think James Robinson's got to get in the end zone here. But I feel like 64.5 rushing yards might be the safer play. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do rushing yards for James Robinson. Oops. And then for Ramondre, we're going to do receptions. That's what we're going to do. And then we'll do Tom Brady. Oops. Oops. And then we'll do the higher on the pass attempt. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I'm 1-3, drafted Mooney, Keenan, Stafford. Okay, so that makes more sense. So yeah, and that's kind of how I was. Like, I just traded away Ramondre Stevenson for George Kittle this week. And even though I think Ramondre Stevenson is the better play season long, you know, sometimes you just have to play your roster. Because, like, I had James Robinson, Mixon, Breece Hall, Melvin Gordon, Chase Edmonds. So, like, even though I thought Ramondre Stevenson was the better season-long play, I am a Kyle Pitts owner, and he's out this week, and I'm 1-3 and need a win. So, you know, you just play your roster. So that's why I asked, like, if you needed Sutton there, which you did, that trade is, especially when you're 1-3 and you need a win now, that trade's fine. See, that's why context is so important. And I'm going to use this platform right now to just make my case, because it's something that bothers the shit out of me in a lot of leagues. If you're in a league that voting on trades is a thing and people actively vote against trades because they don't think it's fair, you need to get out of that league. That is the most frustrating default setting on ESPN Fantasy, is to allow people to vote if they think a trade is fair. Because if that team is 3-0, they are not looking at it through the mindset of needing to win right now. So if you're giving up a big name for someone that could produce this week, then they automatically think, you know, that it's a horrible trade and it's collusion and we need to veto and they're just not in the same situation as you are. So as long as it's not clear and obvious collusion, I would suggest to set it so that the commissioner sets someone as a commissioner that you actually trust and just let him either push it through or send it back. Because unless it's clear collusion, it's really none of your business what the trade is going to be. So that's my little rant on that. I cannot understand the argument of thinking that every vote should be a democracy. Like, that's crazy to me. Because, like, if you're 1-3 and you get something vetoed that would actually help you win right now, and I mean, I'm talking like DeAndre Swift traded for Jamal Williams. Like, if you're 0-4, you need that's a good trade for you because you need to win right now. But, you know, if that comes along your news feed and you see it and you're 4-0 and, you know, that looks really unfair. So you might vote to veto it. And then before you know it, you took a win away from that person that was 0-4 just because you were playing God. So that's my little rant. I think I'll probably do insurance on this one just because it's such... Should I do insurance or should I just send it? No insurance. Imagine. I'm not doing that, though. But anyways, let's see. Leg attempts didn't work out. Yeah, I'm 1-3 drafted Mooney. Saw that, so I needed... Okay, cool. All right, looks like we're up to date. Kickoff is in a half an hour, so we're going to go. We're going to get to a brunch spot, grab some drinks. We have family in from Denver. They actually watched the game on Thursday and decided they didn't want to be residents of the area anymore, so they actually moved here over the past couple days. So they're into town this week for our birthday, and so we're going to go grab some brunch and watch this game with them. If you guys have any further questions, drop it in the comments. I will be responding, pretty much all day, every day. So I respond to every single comment. So feel free to ask questions there if I'm not online. If you're just now getting into the stream, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you get notified when we go live. We go live every single Sunday before football starts. And then we'll do running back and receiving rankings. So hopefully help you guys set lineups and figure out the hierarchy of the running back and wide receiver position. So happy Sunday, everybody. Make sure you grab some good food. Make sure you get comfy for these games. Lock it in. We have what? Over 12 hours of football today. So best day of the week. I hope the fantasy gods are in all your guys' favor. But until Tuesday, I'll see you guys.